Hello, David Zritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. All right, today is the day. 50 years in the making. We are celebrating Live and Let Die. Yes, 50 years ago, a new Bond was introduced with Roger Moore. And today, about 26 to 27 fans are descending upon New York City to go to different locations, to do a book launch, and to create Bond brand experiences. I can't wait for all the mayhem that will ensue. You know, a friend of mine, Solitaire, gave me some cards. I should really take a look at this. Well, first of all, I brought my wife, so the lovers are here. I've got to make sure that the traffic isn't too devilish. You never know who and what high priestess you're going to meet at a certain brand. And I just hope, all in all, I don't play the fool. But you never know. Anyway, the adventure's out here, not in here. Let's go. I'm already seeing people. We've got Kyle. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Nice shirt.
A little sweaty, but other than that,
it's hotter than heck. And we've got Mike Poplowski.
Coffee up.
Yeah, hot coffee on a hot day. And GPS tracking system is bringing us to our first location, right?
It is.
All right, let's go do it.
This way.
This way. No, this way. I'm getting lost already.
Of what used to be New York, on that side in the park. Follow me.
All right, we've got Martin Mulder, who is our fearless tour guide, our Sherpa for the day, taking us through the world of Live and Let Die 50 years later.
Well, this is our first stop. When Bond is picked up from the airport, his taxi driver gets shot and he ends up on the stairs, which is actually here in this corner. It has been remodeled a little bit.
After the crash.
After the crash. He had to pick up the pieces. Now he crashed into the car that was actually parked here, right in front of us. This is the corner where the stairs were.
But the same
building.
building.
It's
You
the
can
same
still see
building.
the same building.
We can walk past. Taxi kind of starts, and that's here on this side.
Look at this. We got Joe Darlington being James Bond here. Joe, what do you think so far?
I think so far spectacular. We're just starting and already at a pretty noticeable sight.
I know.
Yeah,
More things to come, huh?
Absolutely.
All right. Heading to the second one with our fearless leader. Anything goes. Hello. On this trip. Hello. Who knew this was all owned by the Dutch? And now we are being owned by the Dutch. Some things don't change.
Specific filming location, but it does offer you a great view on FDR Drive, like this elevated view that you have a lot in the first moments of the film. So, if you want to take some photos, take some photos. And then we move on to the next one.
They know that they're looking at the Manhattan and the Brooklyn Bridge.
The Manhattan and the Brooklyn Bridge.
There they are, the Manhattan and the Brooklyn Bridge. It seems often in the background.
Yes. Everybody taking in the views, enjoying the day. So this is the view when Felix Leiter is having a conversation with Bond.
I think it's the one that is the big tower that is, you can see here, that is replacing the CIA office. So yeah,
And everybody's looking up at it, taking their
this
obligatory
is
pictures and video,
into.
because that's what we do in these tours. We ooh and ah, because this is a Bond location. It's a part of Bond history.
Phoning from.
It's not.
And this is the this building is still here. That's the one that you can see behind the flags.
Oh, right.
It's one.
So this building.
Hey man, you know where you going?
Yes, it's me. I like to keep a low profile for you.
Excuse me.
I think we're in New York.
No. This is the scene where Bond is in the taxi and he exits Central Park. We're going to get to the Central Park location tomorrow, actually. But that's where he exits the park. This is the north side of the park. And in the next shot, which was very difficult to make a screenshot of, is like a shot into that street because the camera is probably on the building somewhere and it just follows the car driving into Harlem.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And now we have somebody here who can do an excellent impression of that whole scene. So, Kyle, take it away, buddy.
Hey man, you know where you going?
Uptown, I believe.
Brilliant.
Uptown? You headed into Harlem, man.
Well, you just keep on the tail of that jukebox and there's an extra 20 in it for you.
Hey man, for $20, I'd take you to a Ku Klux Klan cookout.
Okay, so we've seen Bond's entry into the area in the taxi, and now we are heading to where he catches a drink, the Filet of Soul. Let's see if it looks any different. I have a suspicion it just might. What do you think, Mike? It might look a little different?
I hope it's nice.
And welcome to New York.
All right, so in the novel Live and Let Die, James Bond and Felix Leiter get to Harlem how? That's right, the most glamorous transportation imaginable, public bus. And on the bus stop here, 3 men get onto the bus behind them who are working for Mr. Big and take it to the next bus stop after noticing Bond and Leiter. So Bond and Leiter are identified. That's how they're identified in the novel, coming into Harlem. And that's all the Harlem we're going to see from the novel Live and Let Die. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Well done, well done. Look at that, you got film and literary all in one. Who knew?
After a 30-minute walk, we're finally there at the place that is hardly recognizable, but I'm very happy that you all followed me. Now, it's actually on this corner where the Filet of Soul was built, and one of the few things that is still recognizable is this structure on the building next to it that is actually here. Okay. Right on top of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the wider shot of that building.
So you can actually see the elevation of the street next to it, which is this street.
So that's the Filet of Soul.
The front is on 2nd Avenue.
Was it an empty lot when they put that up? Is that what it was?
I think they just put a fake facade on it. Yeah. And you actually also have this shot.
It was not an empty lot. It's just a building on top there.
Yeah.
Multi-story building.
And you have this shot of Roger exiting the taxi, which is done into that direction. Mm-hmm. But this little thing on the building next to it, that shows that it's that proves that it's actually.
The fillet of sole today in 2023. A little bit different. But some of the markers of the other buildings still the same. The street, and of course where Roger comes out of the taxi. All still here. Some things change, some don't. This is of course where Roger Moore would have come out of the cab and then gone to get his information, or lack thereof. Now we're going to be eating at the Ian Fleming.
Are we on video or?
No, never. I don't even know what a video is.
We're here for a very special reason, and that reason is sitting on the other side of the table. Over there.
This guy.
Jeff created something for all of us, which I am going to show you. So I have these prints. They're signed by the artist himself. This is lovely. Can you just pass them off? Take one and pass them off. The other reason we're here is because Jeff obviously made a fantastic book. The funny thing is, I've been walking around with it, and Jeff hasn't even seen it himself. Ooh, exciting moment. It's packed in a towel. Can you believe that? This is a rain. Can you do the unpacking, my friend?
Hey!
Oh!
Hello, look. Congratulations.
A lot of hard work.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Joe Darlington just got his book signed.
Certainly did.
Oh.
Where is it? Where is it?
Oh,
Love it.
very nice.
Love
Well done. Look at this line to get the new book signed. Lots of people waiting for Jeff Marshall. Okay, it's the second day of the Live and Let Die. Hi, hon. It's the second day of the Live and Let Die celebration in New York City. Look at that crowd behind us. And we're heading to some very identifiable locations today. And then we've got a couple of Bond experiences. You'll see.
This, because you can't really see it very well. You only see it on the closed circuit TV screen that Felix Leiter is looking at. But you can definitely recognize the size of the building, and you can even recognize that little handrail. And this is where they stop, and this is where they enter. And I was just talking to David about it, and I'm always wondering, why on earth would you film this all the way here? I mean, they could have filmed it anywhere, because you can hardly see where it is. But for some reason, they choose this building. It's a handrail. It's a handrail. Sorry?
So no particular reason.
Yeah, but this...
All right. So we got the embassy here. I should say mission. Not quite the embassy, but this is what it's all about. At least part of the location thing. We're trying to escape the heat. It's about surface of the sun today is the temperature.
Yeah.
Was that what you say?
It's up there.
Trying desperately to close the pores in our skin. Not working. So the thing with these celebrations is you never know the people that you're going to meet. Like Matt Spazer from Bond Suits. Oh my gosh! Right in front of the voodoo shop.
What are you doing at my home?
I know. We're infiltrating your home.
My home.
Looking at.
Put your hand up if you don't know.
So
Was it both used? Or
it's
just
so
one
funny. I
door?
brought mine as well. That's perfect.
You've got a screen
Was it both doors that we used?
I've got the one made by.
Okay.
Oh, this is screen user.
Oh, jeez. So there we go. The voodoo shop.
Okay.
The only thing I wanted to tell you is that there's also this other shot. It's taken on the opposite side of the street because Bond Park. This is where the Versace store is. Oh, right.
And then over here
Yeah.
is, of course, the garage that you see the Pipmobile come out of.
I'm sure it's fine now.
Hot enough for you?
Oh my goodness. Does it look like it?
No. So we got the SAG strike right here. A lot of recognizable people. So Matt Spazer is already worth his weight in gold. He's being our Sherpa. We're going to the zoo.
Going to the zoo.
So what's the significance there with Ian Fleming and the books?
We're going to be looking for the reptile house.
That's in which book?
And it was 007 in New York.
That's right. Heading there, the reptile house. Can't wait on a hot day. So I've just been informed that we will not be seeing reptiles because Matt tells me there never was a reptile house. It's all fiction. So much for expectations.
Reptile house that's supposed to be a meeting at the reptile house, but there is no reptile house and there never was a reptile house.
That's right.
You want a little more information on the story?
Yes, please.
Okay, so
Step forward, please.
all right.
Sir.
So, Ian Fleming wrote a series of essays for the London Sunday Times called Thrilling Cities. The first was a group going through Europe, and then they sent him on a round-the-world trip, going to Hong Kong, Macau, Tokyo, Honolulu, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, and then back to London. New York was the last stop. Fleming was older. Fleming was not in the greatest of health at that point. By the time he got to New York, he was in a bitter mood. He wrote a bitter essay about New York City in there. And then when they went to publish it, because Fleming had become such a mammoth success in 1963, they're doing the work on publishing it. The American publisher, New American Library, said, Ian, we live in New York. You're crapping on our city. The essays are out of date. Tell you what, we don't want you to change anything, but how about if you add like maybe a little short story in there, like James Bond in New York? And he said,
007 in New York.
007 in New York. So he does it. It has the recipe for scrambled eggs 007. It has all sorts of like things that are Bond locations in New York around there, or Bond walking around. But he's supposed to go and have a meeting with a woman who used to work for British intelligence and is now having an affair with a Soviet agent. She doesn't know he's a Soviet agent. So they've set up this clandestine meeting where they can try to warn her off before the Americans get on her and tell her and arrest her for aiding and abetting espionage. So, but they need to do it without the Americans knowing about it. So they set up the clandestine meeting at the Reptile House, which doesn't exist, which causes embarrassment. It's just the last little line in there. To me, the fascinating part is this was never published in England for years and years and years in book form until finally somebody pointed it out to Glenrothes and Fleming Publications. But the other fascinating part about it is that Fleming loved zoos late in his life. He found them incredibly relaxing. Bond goes to the zoo in West Berlin in the Living Daylight short story. Fleming talks about going to the zoo in Honolulu rather than going and flying over the active volcano. You think, what a great Fleming Bondian thing to do. But he goes to the zoo in Honolulu. So it's natural that Fleming does this. And Fleming is an animal lover. One of the greatest signifiers that a villain is a villain in a Bond story is they hurt or kill a helpless animal. Shooting a pelican or shooting another bird by Scaramanga. These sorts of things are signifiers. So Fleming was, of all things, an animal lover. The man who wrote, about a mercenary killer, loved that. So this zoo is also famous for being a central part of a particular movie series. Anyone? Madagascar. This is where all the animals live and domicile in Madagascar. And then in Rainy Day in New York, the next to most recent Woody Allen film, there is a meeting under the animal clock over there. There you go. Yeah. So anyway, the Central Park Zoo was not a great place for Bond fans to visit between 1983 and 88 because it was closed for renovations. But they still did not put in a reptile house. That's it.
John, thank you.
All right, as you saw before, we have Danielle in the back, Martijn Mulder, and special guest celebrity Matt Spazer of Bond Suits, and he's taking us through a very familiar part of the park. We're heading to a John Wick area. It's Bethesda Fountains.
Bethesda Fountain.
And here's the thing, Matt Spazer has never seen a John Wick film.
No.
Do you think after this you might watch one?
I might. I was
That's a no.
really tempted.
That's a no. We'll see.
Really tempted.
So this is actually the path to get to the Bethesda Fountain. One thing to note is at the end of John Wick 2, when he's excommunicado with his dog, he runs down this path trying to escape all of the assassins that are after him, like that guy's doing. So I need to note, because hey, it's a lifestyle channel, Matt Spazer went the added distance. He could have done a Sunspell polo, but he wound up wearing a jacket and a long sleeve shirt. Matt, tell us about the shirt.
So I'm wearing this shirt from Frank Foster, who made just about all of Roger Moore's shirts. And they made a shirt for Live and Let Die when Roger Moore is going, doing all of his activities in New York. And this shirt is a replica of that with the fly front, cocktail cuffs. And I just had to wear this shirt today. It wouldn't be complete without, a blazer and Roger Moore fashion. It was. I almost wore the double-breasted navy overcoat today.
Oh boy!
Yeah, that one I had to say no to.
That's called sweat equity, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Sweat equity. Okay, not James Bond, but certainly John Wick. We've got Bethesda Fountain, where Winston gives John the news that he's incommunicado. He goes back, running up the steps, and runs out of the city as fast as he can to John Wick 3. So this is the deal. So John, describe exactly what we just did to find the right place.
All right, so I've got Live and Let Die downloaded on my phone on my Apple TV account, and we have a couple of trees here. And I, of course, didn't know anything about where this shot was, but some people like, I don't know, David here really kind of did. And so he stopped and he's like, it's around here somewhere. We pull the shot up. He says, can you pull it up on your phone? I pull it up on my phone. David had stopped in the exact place for this.
Yeah.
And my son, who will sit down on anything if there's more than just a moment for that to happen.
The honesty is really flowing.
He will plop down, and he plopped down within about 10 feet of exactly
And you
where
matched the
guy
branches.
is.
That's what I was impressed with.
Well, the branches were easy to match. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd like to say they're distinctive. But what we're looking back here right now is Billionaire's Row, okay?
Love it. Alright, so I'm gonna get the Essex house. So we've got the Essex house through the trees. You can see it blocked by the trees in the movie itself. So everybody's taking it in. It's one scene, but it's still historical, still part of Bond history. That's the magic. All right, so we're taking a break in the tour, and you know, small appetites. Some people like a little bit of meat.
Pizza in New York.
Pizza in New York, there's nothing wrong with that. Danielle's already digging in.
I'm happy.
Why not? Wow. All right, we've taken a break in the day, and we are here now for Analog Shift for a very special party. So we are greeted first thing by this wonderful Macallan cocktail bar, of course with 007 specific cocktails. I ordered a solitaire, Danielle ordered a Dr. No, which has a little bit more bitters to it. And they're mixing it up as we speak. Okay, this is extremely rare to see this, but Macallan brought their Globetrotter suitcase that has the entire collection. You very rarely see these and never really see these outside of London, but they brought these here today. And I'm noticing some very familiar logo designs in the background here.
Yep, this is my house. We do watches here, but we also do a lot of passionate things about pop culture, and James Bond is certainly a major inspiration for my personal style, please note, as well as sort of the storytelling element behind what we do. So what we do is vintage watches, pre-owned watches. We were acquired by the Watches of Switzerland Group, a London-based, publicly traded, oldest watch retailer, largest watch retailer in the world, based in London, but they expanded over here in the US, and they said we want to do some cool vintage stuff. We inherited a guy, so now we have a nicer house. I know you guys have been running all over God's green earth today, seeing some neat stuff. So this is not a super planned out kind of thing. Think of it as your lounge. Take a load off, eat, drink. We've got some amazing cocktails from our friends at the Macallan, who also have a special treat for us a little later, so don't leave. And then I think David and I are going to do a little chit chat about watches, because we do have watches here, and I think we're going to talk a little bit about watches and James Bond, maybe, because, you know. Yeah, so, but seriously, guys, we do have watches to play with. Anything you want to see in the cases, just let myself, Paolo, who's also our resident creative director, photographer extraordinaire, or Raymond back there. We have keys, but not all their keys have an Aston Martin on them. Mine do. So, but seriously, enjoy. I think probably in like 35 minutes or so, David and I are going to do a little talk about watches, but if you want to play this stuff in the interim, just let us know. Snack, drink, enjoy. Thanks everybody.
Got some amazing posters. Analog Shift has really gone above and beyond. We've got the Marshalls, getting some vittles. Oh, that is some thick cut bacon. Goodness gracious, that is not subtle. love it. Everybody's enjoying the incredible lounge. By the way, you know the style of chair you're on? It's an aviator chair from Restoration Hardware. I recognize it because I have the desk. That's the only reason why. And over here, people are getting cocktails. Joe Jollington, what cocktail are you going to get?
I think I'm going to try the solitaire.
Oh yeah, I can highly recommend it.
Is that what,
It's absolutely phenomenal. Everybody's saddling up to the bar. Got some lunch boxes in the back. We've got some background photo areas. I keep gravitating back to that piece over here.
We have a security guy downstairs, so just tell them the
And
password is
lots and lots of vintage watches. And this is what Analog Shift really does very well, is they've got beautiful vintage watches that are curated from around the world. Really the heart's desire, and even the ones that you didn't know that you wanted.
I also brought something Bond adjacent, which I kind of got a kick out of. All my Seikos are gone, but I have this one, which is not a James Bond Seiko. Points to anyone who can tell me where this Seiko came from. Also pop culture, and an important New York one at that. Anyone?
I got nothing.
Ghostbusters.
Ah.
This is the Seiko.
All right, so we've got Kyle Barbeau. And Kyle, what watch are you wearing?
This is the Tissot that shows up, makes a little cameo appearance in Live and Let Die during the boat chase and some of the behind-the-scenes photos when he's wearing the Mrs. Bell outfit.
Absolutely beautiful watch. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you chose to wear the Mrs. Bell outfit
Same
tonight,
time tomorrow, Mrs. Bell.
which goes perfectly with the watch. Very nice.
Please.
Yeah.
So
All right.
we're gonna roll. We're gonna start passing some of these spirits out, but we're gonna get in everyone's hand before we start chatting about it. If that's all right, everyone here.
Let's do it.
But just a little background on what we'll be tasting. This is, of course, from our 60th anniversary of James Bond. We did a collection of 6 unique packs, each inspired by one of the decades of James Bond. The goal of this spirit was to really create a timeless spirit that reflected the character of Bond himself. So a spirit of extreme grace, balanced by remarkable strength, and of course the style and maturity that we have seen James Bond have throughout the years. So just a little bit of thank you to everyone for joining us. This partnership makes sense on so many different levels, as far as time and savoring the moment. But as we say in Scotland, to our the Scottish heritage of Bond, we say "Slán Java," meaning in good health.
Slán Java.
Slán
Java.
Cheers.
Oh, you saw Edgar. And Edgar. I didn't realize you could tell.
This is like the firing line here. All right, we are here for our next experience. which is the
So all the way around the bar and keep going to the right.
experience, the Bond experience. And we've got a wonderful table filled with tastings and moments and experiences that will be filled by Bond people from all around the world very shortly.
Tasting? Hi.
I think you'll be okay with that.
That's
Wait till you see the menu, though.
This'll do. This'll do me nicely.
That's right. All right, so out here we have them pouring the Glenrothes. This is absolutely fantastic. People can have it neat or in cocktails. And then, of course, inside we have this beautiful entry. What an evening.
Try to get one you can see all the way down.
Speaking of
We should know.
Right here?
Gluten, okay, so you're gonna be okay with the octopus, the tomato salad, not the calamari, okay? Not the crab cake, and then the shrimp, you're good. The ludamer, of course, and I'm gonna have the feta cheese on the side for you.
Thank you. Shellfish for me.
Shellfish, so no crab cake,
No
shrimp,
crab cake, no shrimp.
no shrimp. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
but you
really
can do the tomato salad.
The rest
Is the
can-
octopus okay for you?
Octopus is fine.
Okay.
I just want to start off and say we are going to be doing a whiskey tasting, but please don't feel obligated to stick to whiskey the whole night. There's going to be red, white, and rosé, or at least red and white options, and then a couple beers as well. So, you know, if whiskey's not entirely your thing, that's totally fine. You can totally order something else. I'm not going to be offended. By all means, whatever works best for you. I heard some of you guys walked all the way from 57th Street. Is that true?
Uh-oh.
Well done.
Wow. Even indoctrinated New Yorkers, we don't walk that far. And the spotted lantern flies, it's too much for us. So, yeah, kudos to you. Yeah, food should be coming out in a few. I'll give you guys a couple minutes just to settle down, cool off, put some drink orders in, and then we'll jump to the tasting. So,
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Nice. So we've got an amazing menu here. Look at this. Tomato salad, octopus, and calamari we're starting out with. Everybody's digging in right now. What a wonderful, wonderful food. And yes, I'm digging in as well.
They said, no, we're not going to do another full partner. They were beset by people who wanted to be partners with them. Kevin McClory had sort of managed to be a partner with them on Thunderball. Charles K. Feldman tried to work a deal because he had his production deal with United Artists, and United Artists was willing to give part of their share of Thunderball's of Casino Royale's profits if they would take him on, so there wouldn't be a competing Bond film. So they said, we don't want another partnership, and they made a gamble, and the gamble was that James Bond was the star of these movies, and that he could be recast. That gamble did not pay off with Majesties. They brought Connery back. So you're talking about from 1967, 66, where they decide they're not going to rehire Connery, all the way up to 1973 when Live and Let Die is released. That gamble is on the table. Could James Bond survive without Sean Connery? And Roger Moore in Live and Let Die proved he could. Live and Let Die outgrossed Diamonds Are Forever worldwide. And that was not just inflation, that is worldwide ticket emissions. Sold more tickets, more butts in seats than Diamonds Are Forever.
I'll let you guys settle in for a little bit before we started jamming whiskey down your throats. But for those of you that aren't familiar, Glenrothes is a Speyside single malt scotch from the Highlands of Scotland. Been in production since 1879. Our MI6, so to speak, our headquarters, if you will, is in the tiny town of Rothes, which is, it's been around since the year 600 AD. And as it stands today, has a population of about 1,100 people. So it's really this tiny little operation. It's a generation after generation distillery that's been going for a long time now. But, I'll start you guys off with the 12-year. So on the place card to your left, is going to be the 12-year age statement. Feel free to take the little topper off. That's just to keep kind of, it from evaporating too much.
Rich and cream.
If you have a drink in your hand, join me in, of course, the eternal refrain, to us, we are the best.
Thank you. Cheers. Cheers, everyone.
I know.
Favorite bomb?
Just a quick
But this time it's going to be about the gadgets, because the gadgets they're so cool, right? Like I think that's kind of like the charm and like the romanticism about like really falling in love with like this series. You know, despite what character is playing Bond, the gadgets are really cool stuff, right? So whether it's like, you know, the grappling hook wristwatch, and I hope I'm correct on this because I'm gonna get flayed if I'm not, I'm sure.
It's a thing. It's a
Tough crowd.
Yeah. Like that, or like, you know, the exploding pen. You know, those.
Parker Jotter.
What's that?
Wow.
Yeah, those are really cool things, and I think that's what makes, you know, watching these films a lot of fun. But you know, even as a distillery, we've got gadgets too.
You'd
For us,
be wrong
the
not
one
to.
that stands out. Want to revisit anything? If you want to do a shot of the 25, I mean, whatever, you're more than welcome to. If you want more wine, beer, please don't be timid. The Glenrothes bar, so to speak, is open for you guys until 10:30 tonight.
Okay, so you see it's about time that I changed into my Mrs. Bell outfit. Now, I'm not back home. I'm back home. It's been about a day or so since the event, and the rest of the group is off to New Orleans for the second half of the Live and Let Die 50th anniversary celebration. They're going to have an amazing time. I'm sure we're going to see tons of pictures on the tracks of 007.com. You'll see it all there. I wanted to talk about my time in New York. I believe that this was the perfect blending that Martin did of his location prowess, his superpower of location moments, and me putting together some Bond brand events. I mean, the two of those coming together really, I think, is what made this 50th anniversary so special. And then, of course, the usual secret ingredient of amazing people. Everybody who came on board they're just nice. They were just good people that you wanted to be around, and they were informational, but they were fun. They wanted to have a good time, and nobody took things too serious. And we were baking in the lava sunshine. We were still happy. We were still going around with like caterpillar sweat going down our backs, and we were still happy. But I walked away with some swag, which is always fun and a nice little surprise. So we did this amazing event with Analog Shift. Fantastic James Lambden, who is a huge Bond fan, a good friend, but also the founder and owner. And you saw just little bits and pieces. We're going to actually have a dedicated video coming soon where James and I talk about the Bond lifestyle and watches, and you're going to love that. But not only did they have Macallan there, a wonderful tasting and cocktails, and a beautiful buffet. You saw that buffet. I mean, my gosh, it was fantastic. And it was Live and Let Die themed, which was insane. I mean, that was like chicken and waffles and just all types of beautiful things. But they also had a little going away present, little goodie bag. And I have not opened it up, but I've heard that there's something in here. First of all, Factory Entertainment lunchbox. It's got that image, and then it's got that image. So I'm having fun already. This would have been enough. I mean, they gave this to everybody in a beautiful bag. But then we've got, oh, very nice, an Analog Shift hat, made in USA, quality, and it says never lift, never lift. I love this hat. Very cool hat. Then there's, oh, okay, yeah. Analog Shift, this is their matchbooks. Their matchbooks are really funny. They've got a little astronaut on it, but on the inside it says, nice effing watch. Except it's not effing, it's the full-on thing. But, you know, we try to keep it PG-13 here. And a bag that says Analog Shift. And I don't even know what's in this bag, but I am going to find out what's in the bag. What's in the bag? Doesn't have the thing as a box. Wolf. Established 1834. It's got a little packet in here. And, oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Oh, I know what this is. Okay, so this is very cool. This is the Pan Am symbol, but they actually made some watch rolls just like the old Pan Am in the past. Look at that. How cool is that? And this is a travel watch roll that you can take with you with all of your watches. These are nice. This is like real leather, real buttoned up. That's a little too nice to be in a goodie bag. I don't think it was a mistake, though. I think they're just incredibly generous. And everybody got one of these. Everybody got one of these, which is just a bit insane, but extremely nice and very, very of James. James Lambden is one of the most generous guys in the Bond community. He's just fantastic. So Alan Stevenson, great guy, a major, major collector, beautiful collection, handed out some gifts as well. This is really cool. So these are luggage tags, but it says, "Man comes, he travels quickly." These are Live and Let Die ones. It says he brings violence and destruction, and then it's got the date of the celebration. You put this on your luggage so you can identify it. Although it does say violence and destruction, so we've got to be cautious about what luggage, depending on where we're going. That's all I'm saying. Now, one of the incredible gifts that I got was when we visited the Aston Martin, and again, there's going to be a whole dedicated video to that visit. They gave me these very limited edition lithographs, and these are artwork. Like, this is easily frameable, of some of their cars, some of their design cars in a beautiful 110 iconic year anniversary. And I got a second one, I know, because I was there twice. And look at that beauty. Holy cow. These are so beautiful, hard stock, thick, and yes, everybody got one of these. But I got something else. Now, you know, of course, that Jeff Marshall, it was his book launch. But it was also the Live and Let Die 50th anniversary celebration. So what did Jeff and Martijn do? They surprised everybody by Jeff doing this, a limited edition lithograph, Golden Jubilee, 50 years, Live and Let Die, September. Look at this. It even has the date, New York City, and he signed it. I am framing this and putting this in my office. I am, because it's absolutely gorgeous. And I have to also make mention, of course, because I just made mention of it, that the book itself, this book, I've poured through it 3 times already. It is gorgeous. It's by Jeff Marshall. Look at the man. You saw him at Gatherall. He signed it for me. He's a local boy. I had to. This is absolutely amazing. If you don't have one, get one. That's all I'm saying to you. So, amazing time celebrating the 50th anniversary of my favorite, I've said this before, James Bond film, Live and Let Die. Incredible people, incredible events, nonstop, very James Bond. I mean, the Glenrothes meal at the end at Milanos, where we met the chef and had the tastings and all those wonderful things. It was just so amazing. Everybody sitting around this Spectre-like table, having this elegant dinner in this private area overlooking Hudson Yards in New York City. It was like this clandestine secret agent grouping, but it was just us Bond fans. Yeah, just us. So it's amazing. Now, lest you think that you're like saying to yourself, David, I'm not in the Northeast. I'm not in New Orleans. I can't do this stuff. Look, this is bootstrapping. This is a few fans getting together and doing this because we love James Bond. We want to keep the fire and the passions going. So you or anybody else can create any of these type of things anywhere you like. In fact, I implore you to do it in your own area. Do it with 2 people. Do it with your family. Do it with a grouping of friends that don't even know James Bond. Introduce them to James Bond. Imagine that. And you too can celebrate. We've got some anniversaries coming up, some big ones next year. Goldfinger, anyone? Maybe I'll see you there. Anyway, I'll let you go for now. What a wonderful celebration. I have to, of course, thank Martijn Mulder, my partner in crime in this. A pleasure to work with, but it also helps when you're working with a friend. Thank you, sir. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for our next adventure. Oh, look at that. Time for Mrs. Bell's lesson. I got to get. In the meantime, this has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. We'll see you all real soon. Take care. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.